Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for this video, I'm going to be going over my budget and money goals for March 2023. I'm very excited for March because it's going to be a pretty big month for me, as you can probably tell from either the title of this video or my thumbnail. I am going to get to my money goals and my budget, of course. That's what this whole video is going to be about, but I did want to first mention my plan. I've been hinting at this for a couple of weeks now, a few weeks now, and it's something I've really been thinking about, and it's something that I want to do and feel comfortable with doing, so I decided that it was time. And this is about my student loan debt. So in case you were new here, or if you just need a reminder, I do have $36,000 of student loan debt. That is my only debt left. And I don't actually have to pay those down, just like anybody else with federal student loan debt. They are in forbearance and at 0% interest. They've been that way since March 2020. And as of right now, that forbearance is going to end mid-2023. So about probably sometime in August or September is when we would have to start paying those back. And that's assuming that payments would actually resume then. We don't really know. Everything is kind of last minute with the student loan debt, so we will find out closer to that time period. But as of right now, we would have to, start paying them back in about August or September. So throughout this whole time, I have not paid any of my actual student loan debt down, but I have been saving for them in my high yield savings account. And the reason that I do that is because I just prefer to. I make more money that way because I'm gaining interest on that savings. And also, we don't know what's happening with student loan debt. So last year they did announce a possible cancellation. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's not something, I don't want to use that money and then the cancellation happen and then I would have used, the 20K or 10K that I had. And if you watch my Transfer Tuesday videos, you know that I have over, at this point, at the time of me filming this, I now have over $29,000 saved for my student loan debt. So I have a little bit over $6,000 left to go of savings. I also have a little bit over $6,000 in my emergency fund. So you can probably see where I'm going with this, but what I'm going to be doing for March, in the month of March, is using a large chunk of my emergency fund, transferring that to my student loan debt savings. And that way, I will be completely done saving for my student loan debt. I'll technically be debt-free. I won't be officially because I haven't actually paid the debt down, but that will no longer be a focus in my life. I will reach the $36,000 saved. I will be done. I will move on and continue to save for my emergency fund, for other sinking funds, and investing. I'll be showing you the numbers that I expect for March in my budget, but I won't be using all of my emergency fund. I'll probably have a couple thousand left over in there, and I'll quickly be able to build that back up. I know that not everybody may agree with this. I'm sure some of y'all are like, finally. I know a lot of people have told me like, you have the money to pay off your debt, because I have quite a bit invested. I have quite a bit in other savings, and I understand that. But when those things were brought up, it was, several months ago when I still had a big chunk of cash to save up for my student loan debt. So I would have to use all of my cash savings, and that's not something that I want to do. I don't want to pull from my sinking funds if it's not for those sinking funds. I also don't want to completely deplete my emergency fund, and that's why I didn't do this any sooner. But now that I'm down to just, a little over $6,000, I feel much more comfortable doing this, because not only will I be using the money that I earn from my side hustles, my full-time job, and all of that in March, but also I'll pull a little bit from my emergency fund, and it will be a nice balance between the two. So I think the bulk of y'all will understand why I'm doing this and support that, but I know some people may think that this isn't a good idea because I am, using my emergency fund for something that's not an emergency, and you may be thinking like, why would you do that? That's for emergencies. But the reason I want to do this and feel comfortable with doing this is because that money is still going to be there. So if I absolutely need, thousands of dollars, I'm very grateful that I haven't needed to touch my emergency fund in quite some time. I'm also not like, nobody plans for emergencies, but that's something that I am really hoping doesn't happen, of course. But if I absolutely needed thousands of dollars right away, that money will still be there. So I will have $36,000 plus of cash saved for my student loan debt, which of course I want that to be specifically for my student loan debt, but if I absolutely needed it, it will still be there at least through August. And even when August comes around, like if the payments resume and I have to start paying my student loan debt, there's nothing that says I have to dump all $36,000 of my savings to my debt. Like I can literally switch to monthly payments if I want to, and only use $200 per month or whatever the minimum would be. I'm not saying that's what I would do, but if a situation comes where I don't have the $36,000 or I absolutely need that money for whatever reason, I don't have to just dump it into my student loan debt. I will be okay. Also, if I reach my student loan debt savings goal, if I reach $36,000 in March, that gives me several months to build my emergency fund back up. I plan on getting it back up to over $6,000 by August or by September 2023, and definitely up to about $12,000 for the full year. That was my emergency fund goal anyway. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. That's my thought process behind it. I think it makes a lot of sense to me. And the other thing too is I just want to be done with saving for my student loan debt. I am so tired of, like, now that I'm so close to it, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I just want it to be done. And one more month of this sounds amazing. And I probably would have had enough. Like if I didn't touch my emergency fund, I probably could be done with this by May. But throughout this time, I haven't been contributing to my Roth IRA. I don't really like that because then I'm not like balancing things out. I'm not taking advantage of time in the market. So I really want to get back to, focusing on my Roth IRA again for 2023, and I'll max that out. But of course, I will keep you all updated with the order of things because I do want to build my emergency fund back up a little bit before I go crazy and just completely max out my Roth IRA. Yeah, I kind of have an order of how I want to do things, or the things that I want to prioritize over the next few months. So by doing this, I think it gives me a good timeline for everything that's going to be happening in 2023. The other exciting thing is that my money is just going to sit in savings for, another 5 months or so. And that's going to gain a decent amount of interest because my high yield savings account is at a high interest rate. It's over 4% at this point, and that will help a lot. So I'll be gaining, probably over 100 each month in interest alone. And since I'll already be at 36,000, I won't need that money. So I can just push it over to my emergency fund or any of my other financial goals. And that really excites me. But that's it. That's the big thing that I've been referring to in my last couple of Transfer Tuesdays. Nobody guessed that exactly. Hopefully it's not like, oh, that's not exciting. But to me, it's very exciting. Like I am so excited to just be completely done with saving for my student loan debt. So hopefully y'all can understand why I'm doing this and why I'm so excited about it. Sorry, it's nothing groundbreaking. I'm not coming into like a huge lump of cash or anything, maybe, but at this point, no. Some of y'all did say, I know that you're getting your bonus, so maybe you're getting more or something. Yes, you are right with that. I am gonna be getting my bonus. I actually don't know if it's coming at the end of February or the end of March, because I'm filming this before my final paycheck in February. I will be getting my bonus, which is the first bonus I've ever gotten in my life. And that will also be helpful because when I get that in March, I will be putting that extra to my student loan debt, and then I won't need as much from my emergency fund. But yes, let's move on. I'm going to talk about my money goals first. And the first one I kind of just said already, and that's to be completely to save up enough in my student loan debt savings to be completely debt free. So I want to reach $36,000 total saved for my student loan debt, and that means I no longer would need to add to it. My second goal is to get rid of 50 things in my apartment. That may be small, those may be big things. It will probably be a lot of things to throw away rather than selling and stuff like that. But I still want to keep up with the regular decluttering of stuff in my apartments, and that was a part of my low spend year. It was, tied in with that. Now let's go into my budget. You will see I'm going to be spending a lot of money, or not spending, a big chunk of it will be saving, but you'll see that some things are a lot higher for March, and I will explain everything as I go, of course. I'm gonna start with my work income, and for March, I put $5,000. I know what my bonus is going to be, but I don't know how. I know that with taxes, it's a lot higher that you typically pay for the taxes. From what I've heard, it sounds like bonuses are taxed pretty heavily, and then it like kind of, once you file your taxes the following year, it kind of balances it out or something. So I really don't know what to expect. I think it should be at least $5,000 total that I get from my full-time job, but this may be a little bit low. I hope it's low. I hope it's a little bit higher than this. That would be great. As I mentioned earlier, I also don't know if I will be getting my bonus at the end of February or at the end of March, because I was reading our employee handbook actually, and it said we get our bonus 6 to 8 weeks after the start of the new year. So that would be February. So they haven't mentioned it and I have no clue. But obviously I'll keep you updated if anything changes with that. And if it comes in February, then I'll be able to make a lot more progress with my student loan debt a little bit earlier. But for now, I think it will be March. Business income, I combined what I think I'll make from my business income and extra income, about $2,500 here. I've actually been earning a lot more from my business income, which I am so very grateful for. I don't really know what to expect for March. I never really know what to expect any month, to be honest. I know that my YouTube earnings will be a little bit lower in March, and yeah, I really don't know. I think this should be about right. This should cover everything, and ideally it would be higher, but I am not 100%. And then, as I said, this does include what I'm expecting from extra income. So this could be from like credit card cashback or any apps that I use, stuff like that. So we'll just see how the month goes. And then I will be pulling from my sinking funds, as y'all know. So I have $5,145 that I'm expecting to pull from my sinking funds. I will explain what each of those would be coming from. So let's go ahead and talk about my actual budget. Blue section, these are all sinking funds. First up is my taxes sinking funds. This is money that I set aside for my quarterly estimated taxes, any income from my side hustles I do have to pay taxes on. For that, I'm budgeting about $550. Sometimes this is higher, sometimes it's a little lower. We'll just see. Gift sinking fund, that's $75 per usual. Car/car maintenance, that is $100. Car insurance sinking fund, $90. And then beauty sinking fund is $85. Next on here is donate. I budgeted $100. I might go higher, but I'm not sure yet, but definitely at least $100 for March. Purple section all has to do with living. So my housing situation, so rent, trash, and pest fee. I live in a one bedroom, one bathroom apartment. $1,537 for all of that. Wi-Fi is $55 with Google Fiber. Electricity is going to be $91. Water and sewage, $17.36. However, my apartment has been paying for this, so it's probably going to be $0. I just put it on there just in case. Household, about $50 for cleaning supplies, laundry detergent, stuff like that, anything I may need around my apartment. Orange section is related to food, and first up there would be groceries. Budgeting about $400 for that. I've been having a hard time staying under budget. I guess I've always had trouble staying under budget with food. It is getting more and more expensive, I feel, and I have a hard time with it. I don't know, so really gotta try staying under $400, but it's not something that I'm really gonna stress about. Then we have food out, budgeting $50 for that. Next is gas for my car, also $50. It probably will not be this high. I usually only get gas once in the month and it's less than $30 or so, but always put a little bit higher just in case. Health and beauty, $150. A lot lower in this category than you typically see. This may even be too high. I have a couple of appointments, I know that. I may need to buy some vitamins or supplements that I run out of or I'm running low on. And I did end up canceling my massage membership. We'll talk about that in the future. I really like going there, but for March I'm not gonna be able to go, and I pushed out a massage until April. So yeah, I'll talk about that later as to why I ended up canceling that. Then student loans, this is the big one, $6,500. So this is probably too much. I think in February, I still will be able to transfer a little bit more to my student loan debt savings, so I don't think I'll need $6,500. But from what I showed earlier of what I'd be pulling from my sinking funds, this is about $4,500 from my sinking fund. So that would leave me with about $1,500 left in my emergency fund, a little bit more than that, but honestly, I don't think I'll use all that. So I'll probably have at least $2,000 left in my emergency fund. I think I'll only pull about $4,000 from it. We'll just see how everything is looking by the end of March. But that's it. That's all I have left to go for my student loans, and I'm so grateful to be able to knock this out in March. Dogs, $170. Business, this is another high one, $1,700. So I decided I want to start taking my stuff a little bit more seriously. So this is going to mean investing in things to make things more legitimate as far as my branding goes and such. I will talk about that later on in March to see exactly what this entails. So this includes all of that stuff plus my typical expenses. I also have to pay for hosting for my websites, and that I pay for like every 2 years, and that's like $800, so that's included here as well. Netflix is $15.49. Gifts, my mom's birthday and my stepmom's birthday are in March, so I'm just putting this at $100. And if I do end up purchasing gifts, I will pull whatever amount I spend from my gift sinking fund. Next is car insurance, so this is also what I'm pulling from my sinking fund. Unfortunately, every month I've been saving $90 for my car insurance because that's what, it was like costing me $85 per month or so. And I pay a 6-month premium. And now it has gone up to $623.70. It actually was a little bit higher, but I submitted a form saying that like I don't really drive anymore, a low mileage form. They didn't budge. So what I ended up doing was increasing my deductible by like $250. So it lowered my premium by, I don't know, it was like maybe $50 higher than this. So that helped a little bit. And yeah, it's whatever, it is what it is. I know eventually I will have to switch. I currently have Geico, and I feel like you have to switch car insurance every couple of years in order to get the best deal. But for now, this isn't too bad. And going forward, I will probably start saving a little bit more in my car insurance sinking fund. So I think by the time I have to pay this, I'll have like $550 or so saved up for my car insurance. So I will have to cash flow the, like 75 remaining outside of that. Next is taxes. So this is for my actual tax filing. I will be going to my CPA. I've gone to him for years, and he always helps me save a lot of money actually. So that's going to be $285. Each year he increases by $10. So this should be right based off of what I paid last year, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, that should be about right. Well worth it. It's one time a year. It's whatever. And I do hope I'm getting a refund this year instead of having to pay, because last year I did have to pay quite a bit, but I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. 2022 was quite a bit different. Last thing is parking. I know that I have a doctor's appointment, and this is something I always forget about, but I finally remembered this year. I always have this appointment in February or March, and when I go there, it's at like a hospital, and you have to pay for parking. It's usually $6, but I'm just gonna budget 10 in case anything else comes up or in case the price changed, because who knows what it costs now. So I'm glad I remembered to include that though. I do think it's so annoying when I have to pay for parking to go to a doctor visit. I think that shouldn't be a thing. It doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever, it's $6, right? So yeah, that is everything that I'm expecting for March. You can see that if you were to subtract my expenses from the actual income I'm expecting, I'm a little over budget. I wouldn't have enough money. But remember that this is not perfectly, whenever you budget, it's not perfect. And also I am always moving things around. I may have a higher income from my full-time job and from my side hustles. So I expect to be able to cover everything that I need to with no problem. We'll adjust accordingly if necessary. I really appreciate that you've been here throughout it feels like a very long time. It feels like a long time that I've been on this debt-free journey. I know I've been saving and investing along the way as well, but this kind of takes me to my next chapter in my financial journey, and I can really focus on saving for various financial goals and also investing a lot more so that I can reach financial independence, because that's the ultimate goal. And that's going to take however many more years, and I hope that you you join me on this journey because I'm so excited for it. Lots more content to come. I know that I have a lot of plans around investing and FIRE and just financial independence in general. And I wanted to, I could have created this content while still being in debt, but I really kind of want to shift focus. Of course, I'll still be talking about my debt as I start paying it off, like actually paying it off. But my focus will be a lot more on saving and investing now because that's going to be the path that I'm on. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I hope you all are as well. Feel free to comment down below if you have any questions. Otherwise, feel free to leave a comment about what your goals are, your money goals are for March. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.